भगवते वासुदेवाय. Repeat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayat. Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastite Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Prabhupada Ki Priya Shri Girirajaya Swamini Subhaktarararas Bihari Bham Bhaktivyas Chatmadayani Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namye Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharya Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Shatari Mukham Karoti Vachalam Panghum Langayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinataranam. Hare Krishna. So we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 1. So we are on text 17. So this is a description of, so it comes from the 5th canto. So 5th canto, it describes the planetary systems. So the heavenly planetary system, then the middle planetary system, and then the lower planetary system, and then lowest Narak, the hellish planets, or described in the 5th canto. So all types of punishment that is given to the sinful people is discussed in the 5th canto. So Maharaj Parikshit, you know Bhagavatam, right? So Maharaj Parikshit, he is hearing about the horrors of the hellish planets. So he was very shocked and very compassionate. So he asked Shukadeva Goswami, is there any way by which they can be liberated? All right? How can they become removed from this sinful reactions, the karma? So Shukadeva Goswami started to speak this 6th canto, which is described here, chapter 1, the history of the life of Ajamil. So there's a general presentation. First, Shukadeva Goswami said that before somebody, see, the thing is that we are conditioned soul. If we are conditioned soul, then it means that we can't guarantee when we may do something. Yeah, you can sit there. We can't guarantee when we may do something that's not appropriate. Right? I mean, now we're going to study the life of Ajamil. You can just pull that. Just pull that chair. Yeah. So this, just help her. Just help her. Yeah, because we are conditioned soul. Conditioned soul meaning nitya baddha, those who have taken birth in this material world. So we don't know, even when we're in the path of goodness, we don't know when we may slip and do something wrong. And from that one wrong thing, so many more wrong things can happen, right? So then Shukdev Goswami said, before we die, right? Before we take the next birth, we must, I'm just doing a summary. So before we take the next birth, we must atone, we must do prayaschitta, right? We can't just go on life, doing all wrong things and we don't even compensate for it. We don't worry, we don't bother to compensate. I have to do something here. Shikha, can you just fold this? Because this girl, this, because the wind, no? It will just fold, fold it. Careful, fold it. Yeah. All right. Before an accident happens, better we remove. All right. So Shukdev Goswami said that we should do prayaschitta, so atonement. So now there are different types of atonement. So there's the karma kandiya, which we have discussed at length, karma kandiya. And anyway, whenever somebody is suffering, immediately they run to an astrologer in India, right? They run to an astrologer. I don't know what they do in the West, right? But they run to an astrologer because they want to know, why am I suffering and how long will it last, right? Basically, that's why. And this, the Pandit will tell you this, and then will give you the remedies also. Right? I just heard Prabhupada saying that actually the remedies are so difficult that in this Yuga you can't do it. But previously, like even I said, like when I was a child, if somebody's cow dies, then that person will put a rope around his neck and will go door to door everywhere. So like this, so there was all this prayaschitta. So Shukdev Goswami said, yes, we atone, but then we again do the same thing. So meaning that it didn't work. And then Parikshit Maharaj speak of jnana. He said, yes, you should have knowledge. And then he said, but even still you do commit sinful activities, right? So now we are on, so then it came to the point of bhakti, that if we practice bhakti, then it is sure. So large description was given about bhakti, the power of bhakti, how it removes, it removes the very propensity to commit sinful activities. So now we are on text 17. So you can follow with each other. So you can follow with her and you can follow there. All right. So we are on text 17. Together. Sadrichino hi ayam loke panthakshemo kuto bhayah shushila sadhu yatra narayana parayanah. So the path followed by pure devotees who are well behaved and fully endowed with the best qualities, best qualifications, is certainly the most auspicious path in this material world. It is free from fear and it is authorized by the Shastras. Purport. One should not think that the person who takes to bhakti is one who cannot perform the ritualistic ceremonies recommended in the Karmakand section of the Vedas, or is not sufficiently educated to speculate on spiritual subjects. Mayavadi generally allege that the bhakti path is for women and illiterates. This is a groundless accusation. The bhakti path is followed by the most learned scholars, such as the Goswamis, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Ramanujacharya. These are the actual followers of the bhakti path. Regardless of whether or not one is educated or aristocratic, one must follow in their footsteps. Mahajano yena gata sapanthaha. One must follow the path of the Mahajan. The Mahajan are those who have taken to the path of devotional service. Sushilaha sadhavo yatra narayana parayanaha. For these great personalities are the perfect persons. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 5.18.12, Yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati akinchana, sarve gunes tatra samasate suraha. One who has unflinching devotion to the person Godhead has all the good qualities of the demigods. The less intelligent, however, misunderstand the bhakti path and therefore allege that it is for one who cannot execute ritualistic ceremonies or speculate. As confirmed here by the word sadrichinaha, bhakti is the path that is appropriate, not the path of karmakand and jnanakan. Mayavadis may be shushila sadhava, well-behaved saintly persons, but there is nevertheless some doubt about whether they are actually making progress, for they have not accepted the path of bhakti. On the other hand, those who follow the path of the acharyas are shushila and sadhava, but furthermore their path is akuto bhaya, which means free from fear. One should fearlessly follow the 12 Mahajans and their line of disciplic succession and thus be liberated from the clutches of Maya. So see now, before I came across Prabhupada's books, ISKCON's book, I heard this all the time, that bhakti is for women and the illiterate. Is it true? That's what they say. Bhakti, because women, they run to the temples, right? But actually, you see how crowded the temple is with men, right? And you see all our temples, right? It's all brahmacharis everywhere, right? So it's not true, right? So, bhakti, so they say they are for the illiterate, so you just have this katha, right? And you entertain people. So now, how Srila Prabhupada has changed this notion, this idea, right? Because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the greatest of all scholars, right? He practiced the path of bhakti. And Sri Ramanujacharya, who is among the greatest of scholars, he practiced bhakti. Madhvacharya, Vishnu Swami, they all followed Vallabhacharya, Nimbakacharya. They all followed the path of bhakti, right? And their philosophy is meting out a good beating to the Mayavadis, right? The way they are discussing, propagating, and defeating Mayavad philosophy. And here Prabhupada in his Bhagavatam is defeating Mayavad philosophy, right? So the Mayavadis say, yes, the bhaktas, they can't do the ritualistic ceremonies recommended in Karmakand, nor can they speculate, they can't understand philosophy, right? So therefore for them, yes, they can just do jap, they can just do kirtan, right? So here Prabhupada is explaining, he's saying that actually there is a great boon in this path of bhakti, that even though Stri Shudra Vaishya, right, the women who are not very qualified in many ways, The Shudras, they are not qualified in many ways. And the Vaishyas, meaning these days we call them business people, right? They are not qualified in many ways. But if they follow the Acharyas, all right, if they follow the Acharyas, they can become free from their sinful reactions. You follow? So they themselves may not be very qualified, they may not be very literate, as we say, not very literate in Shastra. But because they are following the instructions and the order of the Guru, they are getting the benefit. And Srila Prabhupada is saying that, so what happened to them? This verse is saying what happened to them. They develop good qualities, sushila. They become sushila, right? And sadhava, they become sadhus. Sushila, good behavior, and sadhava, they become sadhus. Saintly, right? The Mayavadi, so Prabhupada say yes, the Mayavadi also may become sushila and sadhu, but we don't know whether they're progressing on their path to liberation. Whereas those simple people, all right, who are following in the footsteps of Mahajan, and list has been given here, the Goswamis, Ramanujacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all those, following in their footsteps, not only are they developing good qualities, but they're progressing. And what is the progress? What progress are they?
Their propensities to do sinful activities are gradually reduced.
Yes, and? Yes, yes, yes. Yes, but Mayavadis also know. They're not the body, they're soul, but what is
But they cannot control the mind.
Huh? Philosophy is different. We want practical progress. Alright? Here Prabhupada is saying, Mayavadis may be Shushila Sadhava, well-behaved saintly person, but there is nevertheless some doubt about whether they are actually making progress, for they have not accepted the path of bhakti. On the other hand, those who follow the path of the acharyas are Shushila and Sadhava, but furthermore their path is Akuto Bhaya. Why? What is that Nirbhay?
That they surrender to Krishna, so they know that the Lord is taking care of them and all that.
They are here. They are Akuto Bhaya, meaning that their path is fearless, meaning they're not going to fall down into hell.
So Mayavadis can fall down to hell.
There's no guarantee they will become liberated from the cycle of birth and death.
So with the Mayavadi, there is always a doubt that they might fall down. But with us, even if we fall down, we know that we will be coming out of the clutches of.
Yes, yes. That guarantee is given to devotees, even if there is a slip and fall. All right, we can pick ourselves up. All right, and start. So, like describe that if a sannyasi in Mayavad philosophy, actually Mayavad is, unless you are a sannyasi, you cannot even practice it. Shankaracharya. Yeah, you have to be male to begin with that. That's why when they see, in Hare Krishna movement, Bhakti are all women. So that's why I say Bhakti is for women and illiterate. Whereas, Mayavad philosophy, we are great, we are sannyasis. So unless you become a sannyasi, you can't follow this path. Whereas Bhakti is open for everybody. It's for the masses, right? So here this verse, Prabhupada is explaining that the masses can become liberated faster than a Mayavadi. Because the simple people, what are they doing? They are just trusting the acharyas, and acharyas say chant, you chant. So that's the whole issue, no? Okay? If you take Diksha, tell you chant for some time and then you give up, then this is a problem, right? But Prabhupada says, even little, anyway, that's going to come in the next verses. Even if you have advanced little bit, it's not going to go in vain. Whereas Mayavadis, when they fall, it's called Vantasi. If a sannyasi in Mayavad school, if they fall down, see, they are like on a very steep cliff. All right, they're going very steep cliff by their own strength. All right, they're moving up by their own strength. So if they fall, there's nobody to catch them. All right. Whereas devotees, if they fall, there's the whole Guru Parampara with them. All right. So we're going to push again. All right, we'll push again. Okay. Go higher, go higher. We have seen throughout our ISKCON movement, so many sannyasis have had problems, so many grihastha have had problems, right? Brahmacharis have had problems, but they're always caught and say, let's continue, right? With Mayavadi, it's like they've lost it. They don't have any. So Vantasi meaning one who eats his own vomit. This is the meaning of Vantasi. Meaning you've given up material enjoyment, you go back to it. Vantasi, right? And they are in a school. They're in school where they are like, okay, where do you go? So unless you change your path, right? Unless you change your path and you accept bhakti, you can't move. Right? So that's why Prabhupada said there is doubt about whether the Mayavadis are actually progressing or not. Now let us read this text 18. Prayaschitani chirnani narayana paranmukham nanishpunanti rajendra sura kumbham iva bhakta. Okay, Vivahuti, you read 1 minute.
Hare Krishna. Translation. My dear king, as a pot containing liquor cannot be purified even if washed in waters of many rivers, non-devotees cannot be purified by the process of atonement even if they perform them very well. Purport. To take advantage of the methods of atonement, one must be at least somewhat devoted. Otherwise, there is no chance of one's being purified. It is clear from this verse that even those who take advantage of Karma Kand and Jnana Kand but are not at least slightly devoted cannot be purified simply by following these other paths. The word Prayaschittani is plural in number to indicate both Karma Kand and Jnana Kand. Narottam Das Thakur therefore says, Karma Kand, Jnana Kand, Kevala Visher Bhand. Thus, Narottam Das Thakur compares the path of Karma Kand and Jnana Kand to pots of poison. Liquor and poison are in the same category. According to this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, a person who has heard a good deal about the path of devotional service, but who is not attached to it, who is not Krishna conscious, is like a pot of liquor. Such a person cannot be purified without at least a slight touch of devotional service.
So now, what an example is given. A pot of liquor, however you wash it in so many rivers, still the stench of that liquor, it remains in that pot. I remember one Maharaj, he told us how, for him, he's preaching in Africa. So he went, in somebody's house. So they gave him water, okay? And they put it in a water bottle. What was that water bottle? Pot of wine. All right. It was like they had kept wine in it. All right. So they gave him water in that. So he was saying this, right? Hmm? Right? So, I mean, this is the suffering of sannyasis when they preach. All right. So here it is. So a pot of wine, however much you may wash, it doesn't get purified completely. All right. Even so, that stench remains, persists. Meaning that all of us, we are covered with layers of sinful activities, carried forward from so many births. And now we are doing karma kand. See, that's why I hear people, they complain, but my family members, they're pious, they're doing this, but why they oppose when I'm practicing Krishna consciousness, right? Because of that attachment. So they are worshipping, maybe they're actually, maybe even Balaji they are worshipping. But in what mood? In the mood of karmakand, not in the mood of bhakti, right? So the stench of sinful reaction is still in the consciousness. So that's why here Narottam Das Thakur is saying that this karmakand and jnanakan, they are simply kevala visharak bhanga, bhanda, the pot of poison. So Prabhupada is saying liquor and poison is one and the same. All right, so all the children should know this. All right, when they are drinking, smoking and drinking, they should know what they are doing, right? They are taking poison, right? So here Prabhupada is saying liquor and poison are in the same category. So here Prabhupada is saying that even though these people, they hear a lot about the path of bhakti, all right? They hear a lot about it, but they don't become attached to the process of bhakti, and they don't attempt to become Krishna conscious. Therefore, they cannot get the result. All right? Hundreds and thousands of people are coming and attending our programs, right? Wherever we go, every festival, hundreds and thousands, but they don't change, right? Explain why. According to this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, a person who has heard a good deal about the path of devotional service, but who is not attached to it, who is not Krishna conscious, is like a pot of liquor. Such a person cannot be purified without at least a slight touch of devotional service. So that's why, all of us who are here, who are practicing, these people who come to the temple, if we don't give them a pamphlet, all right, tell them, please join our Gita class. See, everybody has experience. Very surprising. When our devotees, they stand at our preaching desk, they approach people, join. People are so rude to them. We would think that they are pious, they have come to take darshan or whatever, right? Actually, they have no devotion. They have come only for the sake of prayaschit. All right? They've come only for the sake of prayaschit. So they think that I'm suffering, this problem is there, that problem is there. So here, Krishna is there, Ramachandra is there, Hanumanji is there. I don't know whether they believe in Gonitai, whatever, Nrsimhadev is there, right? So many, and then I will take prasadam, I'll take charanamrita. They are doing everything in the mood of karmakand. You understand? So therefore, they do not get the result. Here, it's amazing. It's such a science. Such a person cannot be purified without at least a slight touch of devotional service. Remember, we had.
They have to attempt to do some devotion.
Remember this Abhas Rupa Bhakti, right? In text 15, there was a whole list given there about the different types of bhakti. This Kadachitki, text 15. Devotional service that doesn't continue incessantly, but is sometimes awakened. Right? So in the second one, Raga Bhasamai, devotional service in which one is almost attached. Meaning like even initiated devotees. So they have rag. They're not fully Krishna conscious, but they have rag. All right. And then comes Raga Bhasa Shunya Swaru Bhuta. Devotional service in which there is no spontaneous love, but one likes the constitutional position of. So they want to do some seva. All right. So you'll call them. They don't actually have attachment for Krishna, but they like to do some seva. Right. And then the last one is Abhas Rupa, a slight glimpse of devotional service. Abhas. So many, they come, so they look at the deities, they look at Radharasa, I think, he's so beautiful. They will look at him from top to bottom, right? They will watch everything and they're amazed and say how beautiful he is. Like this one lady, she told me, or one man, husband and wife, I think first I met the husband, then later I met the wife. So this man, so he was just going on with me, about how God is formless. All right? God is formless. So I asked him, why do you come here then? Right? God is formless. So why do you come here? He told me, I don't know why. All right. I can't leave him. I don't know why. All right. And then he's put in his hand, his pocket, he brought out a picture of Radharasa Bihari. All right. So wherever he goes, he's got picture of Radharasa Bihari. He doesn't know why he comes, he just watch Radharasa Bihari, and philosophy is that impersonalism, Mayavad. All right. So a slight abhas roop, a slight rupa of bhakti. All right. So this person, if he commits some sinful activity, if he come to Radharasa Bihari will pull him up. You understand? Whereas those who come and don't try to develop any type of relationship with Krishna, they only come as karma kandiya. They cannot be purified. This is how people, they go from temple to temple, they check it out. Who's helping me? Isn't it? That's what they do, where I'm getting result. So when they find nothing is happening from Radharasa Bihari, they'll go somewhere else. Right? So here it says that unless you have some rag, right? We have to make ourselves known to Krishna. Right?
And I think, Mataji, this thing changes only when you come in touch with the devotion.
Yes. So actually that's what I was, this is what I was missing. That now all of us, if we don't take the trouble to give a book to somebody, all right, they may get irritated. 10 million people, try to sell me a book. It's okay. All right? Invite for satsanga, whether in your own home or in the temple, wherever. Give prasadam, right? Or just speak about Krishna. Because these people who have come, they are a good candidate to progress. Right? At least they have taken the step towards Radharasa Bihari. Right? We follow? We understand now why is it that people, even though they come, they pray, but because they are motivated and they have no attachment for Krishna, here it says that they cannot be purified. There has to be some element of bhakti. Read it again. To take advantage of the methods of atonement, one must be at least somewhat devoted. Otherwise, just show her the book. Otherwise, there is no chance of one's being purified. It is clear from this verse that even those who take advantage of Karmakan and Jnanakan, but are not at least slightly devoted, cannot be purified simply by following these other paths. Meaning their own path of Karmakan or Jnanakan. If there is no attachment to a supreme objective, they cannot even get the result of their own path. Some bhakti has to be. You cannot negligently, just give a donation. Give a donation, right? Or, go to Kumbh Mela. All right, it is such huge austerity to go to Kumbh Mela or wherever they are going, right? Do some parikrama here and there. If there is no bhakti, their karma kan will not give them result.
Because this is both karma kand as well as bhakti.
Yes.
It is the consciousness.
Yes, yes.
We're doing the same activity but with a different consciousness.
Yeah, they should have some. Here Prabhupada is saying, if one must be at least somewhat devoted, right? Say, when you go shopping, there's no devotion there, right? When you go shopping, it's just an exchange. If you go and do your karmakan in that mood, you get nothing. You get nothing. No purification. Whereas in the path of bhakti, even slight devotion, if you are doing it, you are going to get the results. Purification. Result is purification. All right. Text 19. Sakrin mana Krishna padaravindayo niveshitam tad gunaragiyeriha nametyaman pashabritascha tadbhatan swapne pipashyanti chirna nishkritaha. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Although not having fully realized Krishna, persons who have been once surrendered completely unto his lotus feet and who have become attracted to his name, form, qualities, and pastimes are completely freed from all sinful reactions, for they have thus accepted the true method of atonement. Even in dreams, such surrendered souls do not see Yamaraj or his order carriers, or who are equipped and with ropes to bind the sinful. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear.
No. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 18.6.
Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 18.66.
Sarva
Dharman
dharman
parityasha
parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja
aham tavam.
sarva papepyo mokshasyami ma suja.
Should I?
Continue.
Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. This same principle is described here. Sakam Manha Krishna.
Pararavindayo.
If by studying Bhagavad Gita one decides to surrender to Krishna, he is immediately freed from all sinful reactions. It is also significant that Sukadev Goswami, having several times repeated the words Vasudeva Parayana
and
Narayana Parayana, finally says Krishna.
Pararavindayo.
Thus he indicates that Krishna is the origin of both Narayana and Vasudeva. Even though Narayana and Vasudeva are not different from Krishna, simply by surrendering to Krishna, one fully surrenders to all his expansions, such as Narayana, Vasudeva, and Govinda. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7.7, Mata Paratatman Nanaha, there is no truth superior to me. There are many names and forms of the supreme personality of Godhead, but Krishna is the supreme form. Krishna
Natu Bhagavan Swayam.
Therefore, Krishna recommends to neophyte devotees that one should surrender unto him only.
Mamekam.
Mamekam. Because neophyte devotees cannot understand what the forms of Narayana, Vasudeva, and Govinda are. Krishna directly says, Mama Ekam. Herein, this is also supported by the word Krishna Pada.
Vindayo.
Narayan does not speak personally, but Krishna or Vasudev does in Bhagavad Gita, for example. Therefore, to follow the direction of Bhagavad Gita means to surrender unto Krishna, and to surrender in this way is the highest perfection of Bhakti Yoga. Parikshit Maharaj, you want to say?
All right, so now, see, I think all of us, we've heard this verse, Sarva Dharmam Parityaja Mamekam Sharam Vraja. Aham Tam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishami Masu. Did we take it seriously? Did we take it seriously?
Yes,
Right?
to an extent.
To begin with, we were not even conscious that maybe we have done sinful activities, right? So therefore we say it's for others, right? But actually, any suffering that we undergo, any type of physical, mental, emotional suffering that we undergo is because we have done some sinful activities, right? Any type, right? So what do? So here Krishna is saying, just surrender to me, right? If you surrender to me, then I will remove the results of all the sinful reaction. Akuto bhaya, do not fear, ma suchaha, do not fear. So here Prabhupada is explaining that if by studying Bhagavad Gita one decides to surrender to Krishna, he is immediately freed from all sinful reaction. Meaning that this Bhagavad Gita is not to be read as time pass, right? I just heard, we are all irritated with this online preaching. I just heard this Maharaj, he's saying like, hearing Bhagavatam as time pass. And he's speaking about, what he said, while you're sipping your cup of tea while you're listening to Bhagavatam. He said, if you have that type of attitude, right? You're online, you're doing anything and everything, right? He said, what will you learn from Bhagavatam? Right? So we're describing so many things that people do. The attitude to receive the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. So here Prabhupada is saying, if by studying Bhagavad Gita, one decides to surrender to Krishna, do you know what is a decision? What is to make that decision to surrender to Krishna? And how will you decide to surrender to Krishna? Is only by how? Studying. All right? Studying Bhagavad Gita. Meaning you actually sitting, learning and studying. Then you and you're listening and you make a change in your life. Right? It's not something that you just, take it in your stride. Okay, I've heard, so come to the temple, just pay obeisances, give some donations sometimes, take prasadam and go home and continue with your life. This is not surrender. Not at all surrender. So here Prabhupada is saying, see, that's why the Westerners, right, they knew nothing, right? Those of us who knew nothing. We were looking, right, actually looking for knowledge. So Prabhupada is saying here, if by studying Bhagavad Gita, one decides to surrender to Krishna, it's a huge decision. It's an extremely huge decision. One decides to surrender to Krishna, is immediately freed from all sinful reactions. All right? So that guarantee is given. So even though there is a backlog of, Kutam, Bijam and Prarabdha all sitting and waiting for us, right? While we are suffering our Prarabdha, right? Krishna says, don't worry. he will remove everything. So now it is also so that was the first point that Prabhupada made, that if we surrender to Krishna, Krishna will remove the sin. Do not fear. Second point Prabhupada is making is that Shukadev Goswami, having several times repeated the words Vasudev Parayana and Narayana Parayana. So at different times he said Vasudev Parayana or what is the meaning of Narayana Parayana? It means, oh God, those who have taken the path of Narayana, devotional service as their life and soul. This text 17. Narayana Parayana. Those who have taken the path of Narayan, devotional service as their life and soul. This is Narayan Parayana. And Vasudev Parayana, same. But here in this verse, now Shukadev Goswami, he saying, Krishna Padaravindayor Sakrin Mana. If in my mind, even once, okay, if in my mind, even once, I become determined and I accept the lotus feet of Krishna, Krishna Padaravindayo, although not having fully realized Krishna, that's all of us, all right? Persons who have even once surrendered completely, meaning they are not going to run here and there, this deva, that deva, this temple, that temple, this karmakan, this jnanakan. I don't know what they do in jnanakan. Maybe they sit, they just read their Vedanta. I don't know what they do, right? So, persons who have even once surrendered completely unto his lotus feet, meaning only Krishna, Mam Ekam. Krishna is also demanding, all right? He says for him to take full charge of us, he's saying Mam Ekam. He's also demanding. If you will turn towards me only, I will take care of you. If you will go to 10 different people, I'm not going to take charge. All right? Even in human relationship, we do that. Right? If a wife say, okay, you are the only one for me, the husband feels impelled. Right? He feels impelled to take shelter. But when I have my own plan, plan A, plan B, plan C, then he say, okay, make your own plan and see which one works. Right? This is natural psychology. So here Krishna is using the same. It's natural. He say, Mam Ekam. So, persons who have even once surrendered completely unto his lotus feet and who have become attracted to his name, form, qualities and pasam are completely freed from all reactions, sinful reactions. For they have thus accepted the true method of atonement. So here, Prabhupada is saying that this Krishna Padaravindayo. So even though Vasudev has been used, Narayan have been used, but here, remember Shukdev Goswami speaking to who? He's speaking to who? Parikshit Maharaj. Okay? Shukdev Goswami is speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. And Parikshit Maharaj, his grandfather is, and he himself was protected by Krishna. All right, Krishna. So Shukdev Parikshit Maharaj has a direct relationship with Krishna. So he's not saying Narayan because we don't know who's Narayan. All right, we don't know who's Narayan, right?
Grandfather's friend and then okay.
Yes, Arjuna's friend, Sakha, right? Arjuna's Sakha is Krishna. So he like Uttara, right? Uttara, she took shelter of Krishna. So he said, now, he's very expert speaker, Shukdev Goswami, super expert speaker. How to convince? See, remember that Parikshit Maharaj has 7 days to die. So he's trying to impress and convince Parikshit Maharaj, that personality whom you were looking for your entire life, Parikshit, right? That Krishna now. You focus your mind on him, and any sinful reaction that may be in you will be vanquished, right? Because Parikshit Maharaj will be thinking, I did something sinful, right? I took a snake, and I wrapped on the neck of this rishi. I have acted sinfully, right? So here, so many doubt is happening, right? And God knows how many my past life karma are also chasing after me. At this young age, he got cursed, right? Anybody will run and say, look at my Janma Patri, right? Why I got cursed, right? What is the sinful activity I have done? So here, Shukdev Goswami is saying, Sakri Nama Mana Krishna Pada Ravindayur. It's such a beautiful phrase, right? Krishna Pada Ravindayur. Yeah. So now, Parikshit Maharaj had inquired from Shukdev Goswami how one can be saved from falling into the various conditions of hellish life. In this verse, Shukdev Goswami answered that a soul who has surrendered to Krishna certainly cannot go to Narak or hellish existence. If we have done good, we've had some devotion. Sometimes I meet girls, very good girls, but they have had a slip in their life. They go to work, somebody has spoiled them, right? And they're very devotional actually, right? So here, assurance is given. Assurance is given that no, you should know that you will not go to hell, or your life will not be hellish. All right, in this life itself, if for some reason this has happened, all right, continue to take shelter of Krishna, your life will not be hellish. Hell doesn't mean only that you go down to Yamlok, all right? Here itself. So punishment may happen for whatever mistake we may have done if we're devotee, right? Proper. Surrender to Krishna. But our punishment will be there, but life will not be hellish. All right? To say nothing of going there, even in his dreams, he doesn't see Yamaraj or his order carrier who are able to take one there. Sometimes when people are dying, suddenly they become very afraid. Their eyes just become huge. They're afraid, very huge. Why? They're saying Yamdut. Saying Yamdut. And see, actually what happened is that, unfortunately, I don't know whether I should say this, but unfortunately, when we associate with sinful people, we become sinful also. Right? And sometimes the sinful mind, even of a dying person, right? When they are seeing Yamaraj, right? Sometimes I don't know what it is. Sometimes their anartha, especially if we are very closely connected to that person, suddenly their sinful thoughts start to sink in our mind. So therefore we have to be extremely careful. Extremely careful. Because then what? He became a thief, plunderer, murderer. In other words, if one wants to save himself from falling into Narak hellish life, he should fully surrender to Krishna. The word Sakrit is significant because it indicates that if one sincerely surrenders to Krishna once, he's saved even if by chance he falls down by committing sinful activities. Okay? Therefore, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Apichet Sudaracharo bhajate mam ananyabha sadhur eva samantavya samyak vyavasito hi saha. Even if one commits the most abominable actions, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated. If one never for a moment forgets Krishna, he is safe, even if by chance he falls down by committing sinful acts. In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, famous, Nehabhi krama nasosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpam apiyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. Elsewhere in the Gita 6.40, the Lord says, Nahi kalyan krit kaschit durgatim tattata gachati. One who performs auspicious activity is never overcome by evil. The highest kalyan, auspicious activity, is to surrender to Krishna. That is the only path by which to save oneself from falling down into hellish life. So everybody, anybody who has somehow or other had the desire to surrender to Krishna and serve Krishna, I heard Prabhupada say, even if for some time, all right, but then they fall from the path, this person will not see hell. Will be punished in many ways. Punished in the sense that will be pushed, kicked by Maya, so that the person again come back to him, right? But he will not go to hell. Hell meaning there will not be such suffering that you forget Krishna. Yeah. So that is the only path by which to save oneself from falling down to hellish life. Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati has confirmed this as follows. Kelvalyam narakahe tridasha pur akasha pushpa yatehe Durdantendriya kala sarpa patali prokhata damstrayatehe Vishwam purnam sukhayate vidhi mahendradischa kitayate Yat karunya kataksha vibhavanavatam tam gauram evastumaha. Such a beautiful poem. Yeah, you heard? Such beauty. He's a poet. So this is Prabodhananda Saraswati. It's amazing how he was that rhythm in that poetry. So what is he saying? The sinful actions of one who has surrendered unto Krishna are compared to a snake with its poison fangs removed. Prakhata damstrayate. Sometimes they say we've got sarpadosh. Kal sarpadosh. We read about that sometime back, right, in Bhagavatam. Kal sarpa. So. But here, if we surrender to Krishna, that Kal Sarpadosh does not affect us because we are protected. It's like the fangs of a snake. So the poison is removed. Such a snake is no longer to be feared. So even though it's lying there, but actually it has become inactive. Of course, one should not commit sinful activities on the strength of having surrendered to Krishna. Anyway, I'm bhakta, I'm bhakta, I'm chanting, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then I commit sinful activity that comes as nam aparad. Right? It becomes nam aparad. Not allowed. Yeah, of course, one should not commit sinful activities on the strength of having surrendered to Krishna. However, even if one who has surrendered to Krishna happens to do something sinful because of his former habits, all right, such sinful action no longer have a destructive effect. All right, see, what are we afraid of? We are afraid of ourselves because we get propelled to do some sinful activity, right? Like a man. He has illicit connection with somebody else's wife. He's asking for what? Destruction. Right? And that woman also, if she agrees to it, she's asking for destruction. All right? So sinful activity has destructive effects. Therefore, one should adhere to the lotus feet of Krishna very tightly. Prabhupada is saying very tightly. Don't let go of Krishna's lotus feet. And serve him, serve Krishna under the direction of the spiritual master. Here Prabhupada is giving us directions. Thus, in all conditions, one will be akuto bhaya, free from fear. All right. Just see, such important. Everybody, is afraid. Huh? We are all afraid. We don't know why we are suffering. We don't know when something will pop up in our life. Right?
Everything is going on smooth, and one fine day.
Everything is finished. Destructive effect of our own karma. All right? So we say if we surrender to Krishna, so even though we are attacked by the power of destruction of the law of karma, right? Krishna will protect us. He will remove that sinful reaction. Okay, so the law of karma is being discussed here. And law of karma, law of karma is inert or inactive if we are following the law of dharma, right? And we can follow the law of dharma only when the seed of enjoyment is over. If the seed of enjoyment just sitting there in the heart and not being removed, one day it's going to sprout, right? So the method by which to remove the seed, it is by following the path of bhakti. All right. What's your name again? Kaina. Kaina. K-Y-N-A. Kaina. What does it mean? Oh, Kannu. Kannu, right? Kaina. Okay, Kannu. You have some question? Huh? What do you think of what we've just read?
About following the path of bhakti, and any person who doesn't come with devotion and heart won't really be benefited by the grace of Krishna, and just following Krishna as the right path.
Yes. Yeah. So if they come, it's amazing here. It's amazing. Prabhupada is saying that even though they're hearing so much about the good effect of devotions, if they don't develop that little bit of bhakti, right, they don't get the results. So therefore, devotees must be merciful. They must be merciful. They should tell people, they should awaken that love in their heart, right? Like we saw how, we put up our advertisement for that flower arts, right? All these ladies came, right? They were just overflowing with that bhav, right? Everybody. So that we should awaken. That's why we are doing all these classes, right? Even the cooking classes, why we are doing, So it's to awaken your affection for Krishna, your relationship with Krishna. So these are all preaching that we are doing. So now we know so many hundreds and thousands of people are just passing through Ras Bihari temple, right? But they are coming without devotion. So then they won't come back again. Right? Yes. So it is Krishna's attraction. So actually hundreds of thousands are coming regularly also. I remember one time I was sitting in the lobby, I was sitting there, and then this lady started talking to me. Then she told me that actually she was born in Juhu. She lived here and then she got married. She got married and she left Juhu. So she's saying, but she cannot live without Radha Ras Bihari. Yes.